James Dio earlier. I don't know if Ronnie took over for Ozzy and Black Sabbath and then had a huge solo career. He was just a little guy, but he had the voice of a fucking giant, maybe the greatest heavy metal singer of all time. Yep. We opened for Motorhead once, and Ronnie came to the show to hang out. And afterwards, he was signing autographs for everybody outside of the venue. And it wasn't his gig. I just thought that was really cool of him to do that. So I asked him, I said, like, that's really cool of you to sign the autographs. It's not even your show. He said, Chris, he goes, always give people their moment. He goes, you won't remember, but they'll never forget. They will never forget.
And they'll tell other people.
They'll tell everybody. Always give people their moment. And I always kept that at the back of my head, even if it's a shitty day or fucking you get all those guys who show up at the airport with this.
Right.
Just stop, dude. Give the moment. Takes 3 seconds to sign. Be cool. And then you never have to see him again. And that's great advice from one of the masters of music.
Chris, let me ask you a question. I did a rock festival in Australia where I was a referee for. They had one wrestling match. It was a rock festival, but they had a wrestling match. It was Scott Steiner versus Nathan Jones, and I was the referee, right? But the rock festival, like it was like a Lollapalooza type thing. It was Midnight Oil, Pink, Billy Idol, Nickelback, and also one of the acts they had there was Puppetry the Penis. Okay? So here's the thing. So I went on this tour. I'm like, wow, go backstage for a rock tour, dude. Like if you got the same body these big festivals, all families, kids, so like completely not what I thought. I thought it'd be like groupies, hot chicks, and I'm like,
it's like the wrestling business. It's changed completely to where there's none of that anymore.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like it's
how
really
weird
crazy.
Is that, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Even the young bands and the young bands and the young wrestlers, like it's changed now to where the sex, drugs, and rock and roll element is really gone. Probably for the best. We're not losing as many rockers or wrestlers like we used to, but there is a little bit of that pirate element that's sorely lacking.
And just to show you how much it has changed, Disco, tell Jericho what happens every time AEW's come to Vegas and you've invited the boys to go to Sapphires.
Oh, bro, not even the fans. Not one person from an AEW, like when AEW,
crazy, right?
Nobody comes in the club.
That's crazy.
None of the boys.
Yeah, like when I went to AEW, Jericho. When I went to AEW, obviously everybody's smoking weed, but that's not a hard drug, right? No. They were all like smoking weed and drinking fucking what are the seltzer waters?
White Claw.
What?
White Claw, yeah. I mean, that's the extent of it. During the pandemic, Frankie and I used to go to the fourth floor of the hotel, and everyone would get there and hang out and have some fun. But everyone was going crazy during the pandemic, anyways. But other than that, there's like you said, the weed all over the place.
Right.
Seltzers are kind of gone. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have a drink at the bar, you just see the old school brothers, like guys like us. That's about it. Everyone else is gone.
Right. Like every time, like I went to Impact. And the first thing I did is I zoomed over to Dreamer and Bubba because, we could share good stories and have a couple drinks while everybody else is, playing video games or, having tournaments in their room.
Getting Uber Eats and going to bed early. And, And a lot of the guys date the girls now. Right. So they just leave. Like there's that whole element is gone too. So it's a different world, man. But
wrestling is kind of weird how it became like this really kind of, I want to use the word kind of like this incestuous community. It's like everybody dates in the house, like like all the throws it, and it's like it really wouldn't like I never like.
Well, first of all, we didn't have that many girls when we were wrestling.
Oh right. Now it's like now it's like a freaking
Well, ECW was like that in the '90s. Everybody was with one of the chicks, because there was Francine, Beulah, Kimona.
That's literally everybody. Yeah.
No, Lady Alexandria, the meanie girl, whatever anymore.
Okay, is there anybody, guys, that we've missed to put over that you want to put over before we wrap this segment up?
I'll run through
Go ahead.
These are my favorites. Like I've already mentioned Metallica, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, of course, all-time favorite, one of the best. Beatles.
You want to say anything about AC/DC for the young guys
just,
that don't know about them?
Going back to what I said, obviously two eras, the Bon Scott era and the Brian Johnson era. But the one thing that remains is Angus Young. Angus and Malcolm really were the heartbeat of that band. Another guy, kind of in that Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen That same conversation about just doing different things with the guitar, and just he has such such a recognizable sound. And again, I love both guys. I love the Bond stuff. I love the Brian stuff. I came up on the Brian stuff, so that's kind of closer to my heart. But my favorite song of all time is a song called "It's a Long Way to the Top." If you want to rock and roll, just because,
right. For example, my top 5 songs of all time, Jailbreak's in there.
Awesome, unbelievable song.
Yeah.
And then going back, I got to throw the Eagles. I got to throw Tom Petty in there because those two bands. Talk about the number of hits. It's just unbelievable with both bands, the Eagles and Tom Petty. Tom Petty is maybe my favorite American solo or band, whatever you want to say. He's my favorite concert ever. And then other solo guys, Ozzy, love him. Elvis, he's the king for a reason. I still listen to a lot. Black Sabbath and Billy Idol. We talked about him a little bit. I think Billy Idol's super, super underrated in terms of being another guy that has that same aura that was always just dude. I wanted to be Billy Idol when I was a kid. He looked so cool. The blonde hair, and the fist pumping.
Bro, I don't know if you remember this, Jericho. When I first got to Mexico, Vampiro used to call himself Billy. Remember?
Yeah.
And do you know why?
Because he used to have Billy Idol hair, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like him.
Yeah. He probably told people he was him.
Tom Petty, I just want to say real quick, because I've said this to Chris and Frankie too. Everybody has that celebrity or movie star musician that passed and it just breaks your heart. Like some people might say Prince, or younger guys might say Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. But for some reason, Tom Petty, when he passed, it hit me right in the heart. And now
we've talked about this, Joe.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I told you guys that. Yeah.
It's like for whatever reason, man. I remember I was home by myself. Trace and my son were in Canada, and I got that news, and I just sat on my patio, smoked cigars, and listened to Tom Petty all night.
Yeah.
And I was hurt like an uncle or like a friend that had this profound impact on me passed. Like, I don't know, man. His music just connected with me so much, and it just it shook me to the core. It was really strange.
I gotta ask Chris what Chris and Conan this real quick. Just this is entertaining. We brought his name up. Off the top of your head,
I always go.
funniest Vampiro line. Mine is, I was late to the show because the door of the airplane fell off.
Happens.
Just off the top of your head, Chris. What's the first?
When he said when I met him in Mexico in Monterrey, and he said I needed to wear a loincloth to get over.
Bro, remember when he told us that he got kicked out of the junior hockey league because he had long hair?
Yeah, he played for the Winnipeg Warriors junior hockey team.
Right.
He had bodyguard from Milli Vanilli.
Here's my favorite. He actually said this on the podcast, and I actually told him, dude, people are listening to this, right? He actually said this on the podcast. He used to have this show where he would chase ghosts and supernatural shit and shit like that in Mexico. And he says that he once jumped into a fucking a graveyard where they had 60,000 corpses in Haiti. Okay. And then the other one that he told me was that he went to a tree where they had hung somebody. Okay. And he wanted to sit in that tree and feel the energy, if it was negative or positive. And that as he was walking to the tree had eyes, and that there were pictures of this tree with the eyes. And I will send it to me, which obviously he never did. I'm like, dude, how ridiculous is that?
Hey, I got to split. So one guy I got to say is the guy right here, David Bowie.
Incredible.
Bowie is to me
incredible,
the greatest solo artist of all time. I take anytime people say, oh, Jericho's got a new character or a new gimmick or a new look, it all comes from the Bowie attitude of constantly evolving.
Ziggy Stardust. Yeah.
There's so many Ziggy Stardust.
Did you ever see that movie he did from Germany?
Which one?
I'm going to find out for you, bro. It's a great movie that he did in Germany, and he played. It was really cool.
But even to the day he died, you're talking about a guy who knew he was dying and recorded a record where the second song is just him breathing. And I was like, fuck, is that ever cool? He knows he's dying, so I'm just going to breathe.
Is there instruments in it?
Well, it's not the whole song. It's just the beginning. I just thought that's so fucking Bowie.
Yeah. And not only that, what a great collab with him and Freddie Mercury, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Under
What a
Pressure.
great song.
What would you
Hey,
say?
that movie's
Chris?
called that movie's called Christian or Christine F. I can't tell, but it's a German
check it
movie
out.
from '81. Bowie composed the music and played himself.
Chris, before we finish, what would you say to the people that think Ice Ice Baby is better than Under Pressure?
Well, their song goes. Queen's song goes bum 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 bum. Ice Ice Baby goes bum 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 bum. I know Ice. He's a great guy. His name is Rob, and he's like
He follows me on Twitter mysteriously for some reason.
Vanilla Ice was cool, dude. Vanilla Ice is another guy, man. Say what you will, when he came out, Vanilla Ice was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, great.
Okay, before you leave, Jericho, Disco, give him your idea for the learning tree.
Oh, bro, you know what you should do is make fun of the people that are getting hurt all the time. Just show the clips and stuff and everything, and show like show the clips of the guys of Edge diving in front, like you talk about like under the learning tree, you longevity is and like they can do a thing where like talk about the like these young kids are always doing all this crazy stuff and show the clips, and then have Big Bill come out and like throw one of these guys onto a table. They go through the table when the guy's lying there. You go down and interview him. It's like you're saying, I hope this is a learning experience.
Did you tell him about the Hawaiian?
guys, I got to split. Sorry, I got.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys, great conversation, man.
Have a good one, man.
Guys,
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. TV time. All right.
Cool.
That's great. Man, we finally got this done, Frankie, and I liked your moniker, King of TNA.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time coming, but dude, look at it. We're like an hour and a half. We could easily probably talk for 4 hours, man. We're gonna have to do a part 2 and maybe talk about different genres and like go into like hip hop,
Country, rap.
Exactly. Just maybe bands that we dig that people don't know, like new bands, old bands, because I got a ton of shit that I'd love to discuss.
Yes, please, if you can, send me or Joe the ideas that you have, and then we'll implement them. And if Jericho isn't around, we'll find somebody else that likes rock and bring Madden back on again.
Always happy to talk.
We can bring Raven on to talk. He's because he's kind of like this avant like musical years and stuff.
Special 70s.
Like name the year, the song, the art, like everything, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, let's do it, man, for sure.
Are you gonna be here next month for the TNA stuff, the arena, June 28th?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, I'll be there, man.
All right. Who are you feuding with now in TNA?
Not necessarily feud with anyone. I have a match with Nick Nemeth that'll air next Thursday. Yeah, real big fan. I mean, dude, I've been a fan of that guy forever, so it was cool to finally mix it up.
And not only that, bro, I worked with him for the first time in Mexico because he's a AAA champion.
Yep.
What a cool, very professional guy.
Yeah, real cool dude, man. He fits right. He fits like a glove in that locker room, that TNA locker room, dude.
I think he was.
I lobbied really hard to get him there. I mean, not that nobody needed any convincing, but he's just a guy I knew would fit in well. That he could have great matches with a ton of guys, and he's real good for us for what we're doing right now.
Right, plus the new YouTube was probably hit it off really good too.
Oh yeah, but like we've been bugged for a while. Yeah, like I ran into him. Funny enough, talking about music, I ran into him at a Steel Panther concert in Vegas.
Oh really?
One night last year, and we hit it off, and we were going to get together later. In fact, we were going to go. I think he was going to see you, and I was going to.
He always comes in to the concert, comes to the club, sleeps, and flies out at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And at that point, I was hanging out with Red Cup Jeff. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's one of Jericho's.
Yeah, Jeff.
And Red Cup Jeff, and it was late. Now that he had a few beverages, and it was like, I can't.
Jeff is Jericho's buddy, but he's like having his drinking buddy, and he's got long hair, and he's always drinking out of the Red Cup.
Oh, I think I know who he is. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Great dude.
Yeah. He also had a guy for a while, which I made a big joke about, that all he did was carry around fucking Chris Jericho's little cooler, and it said Jericho's Ice.
His fresh ice. Yeah, his ice for his breaking. Because they was on the first couple Jericho cruises, because there was ice for everyone else, and then there was Jericho's ice.
Right.
Yeah. And I saw him after Fozzy in Philly, and we went, me and everybody went backstage afterwards, because I brought a big bottle of Goose and was like, let's kick it or whatever. A buddy of mine knew that story, and so like that night he Facebooked like, I just got to use Jericho's ice because he got to reach in the cooler and take the ice.
I stole some of Jericho's ice too.
What are you doing now? Anything that you want to plug? And your social media if anybody wants to hit you up.
Yeah, I mean, still obviously TNA Impact every week. I'm having a ton of fun there, man. I think I'm doing some of the best work of my career. I'm just having a blast.
I agree.
Thank you, brother. Obviously,
I watch all the screeners.
Yeah, I get them too, man. Thanks, I appreciate that, man. That's cool. My social media, Frankie Kazarian on Instagram, on Twitter or X, Frankie Kazarian official on Instagram. I'm posting a lot of cigar pics and like mini reviews because, I'm smoking different type of cigars. So like I pretty much every night I have a free night. I go smoke a cigar and I'll let everyone know what I'm smoking and everything. So I'm doing that a lot. So if you're into cigar culture and stuff, I'm really, really hitting on that a lot lately. So, check it out, man.
Hey, Frankie.
Me too, because a lot of the girls, we have a lot of Cuban girls that work in the club. They've been going home. They bring back cigars.
Cool. Yeah. That's my thing, man.
Frankie, are you going to be around today?
I'll be around.
Traveling or doing?
No, my son's got his last Little League game. I'm going to that, and then I fly out on a red eye tonight. But I'm here all day. So
all right,
real quick. What type of dad are you at the games? You get into it, just like
no.
You fight another parent.
I used to help coach, but like I can't commit because I'm on the road all the time, so I can't beat all the games and the practices. So the last couple of years I haven't coached, and I'm very much a let the coaches coach, and I'm just I'm very much just come on, bud, keep your eye on the ball, just that type of stuff. His coaches are incredible this year. I'm not one of those asshole Little League parents that are coaching.
Right from the stands.
Right. How many of those do you see these days?
Other parents.
It's disgusting, man. Little League parents ruin it for the kids. This is about a game that children are playing, but you got these grown men that are living vicariously through their kids and ruining it for everybody, man.
And sometimes even being rude to their kids, like if they don't play well.
Well, let me tell you this too. Yeah. I don't know what it is. You talk about the kids. I don't go to the Little League stuff, but perfect example is like when like the Boy Scouts have the little setup outside the grocery store selling stuff. Bro, these parents are like aggressive bullying. Yeah. Like if you don't think that they'll cut a promo on you. It's like I don't know what like parents are just gonna become.
And guess what? What's sad is those kids are learning from those parents.
Right.
So all they're doing is sending out more pieces of shit into the world that we don't need. So, yeah, man, I try to be a good example. I try to just be a fan. I'm very, I mean, I know a small community here, so I know most everybody. But like, dude, everyone's a volunteer. No scholarships are being handed out. There's no prize money.
Right.
It's fucking kids playing a game. Don't yell at the ump. He's a volunteer. He's here taking time out of his day. You're not.
$13 a game or something get paid, like or so whatever.
Yeah, these guys at this level, I don't know if they get paid. They just do it because they want to support the community. They love the game of baseball and they want to help out. So yeah, I could go on for days about that.
So I'm gonna give you a call today because I need your opinion on something. Okay.
Hit me up, man.
Did you give your social media yet?
Yep, Frankie Kazarian, Frankie Kazarian on Twitter, Frankie Kazarian official on Instagram, and yeah.
And plus, for those of you that don't know, Frankie joins us usually monthly on our Frankie Kazarian Rocks a Delicious 10, and Nick Aldis, even though he's a general manager, still on the disco list, Juicy Seal of Approval, where we go over music that is made by our listeners or people or our listeners that support groups, and they send this music to us. And if it's good, we put it over. If it's bad, we bury it, which is actually funner.
Probably be doing that in a couple of weeks, I'm guessing, right?
Right. Yes, for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Cool.
Friend of the show. Yeah. Anything else? All right. Friend of the show, reoccurring guest, cigar aficionado on TNA, our boy, the one and only, the only one, Frankie Kazarian. Boom.
Cool. Good chat. See you, boys.
Thanks
for your time, Frankie. Thank you.
Later, boys. For sure.
Okay. I got to answer the door real quick.
All right. I got beat.
Yeah. Yeah, this would help. Bye-bye. No.